This is Mustang Postgame.
Final score from Moody Coliseum this afternoon. Syracuse with the win over the SMU Mustangs. Final score of 78-69. Welcome back to the postgame show presented by UT Southwestern. I'm John Hendry. We'll be joined in just a moment by the head coach of the Mustangs, Adia Barnes. And today this is a ball game. Syracuse came out, scored the first points of the ball game, and never looked back. They ran out to a double-digit lead. Basically from the 4:11 mark of the first quarter on until it was the 5:16 mark of the fourth quarter before the Mustangs were ever able to get it under double digits, but they couldn't get it any closer than 9 points in the ball game, and they lose today by 9, 78-69. So that ends the three-game winning streak for the SMU Mustangs, and Syracuse adds to their winning streak, and they avenged a loss in conference play to the Mustangs last year. The final score again by 78-69, and it was four players in double figures for Syracuse today, led by Sophie Burrows with 22 points, who averaged 6.9 points coming into this ball game, and 3-point shooting, huge difference today for Syracuse. They had only 30 makes in their first 8 games. They had 11 in this ball game, 11 of 28. They came in shooting 24% from 3. They shoot almost 40% from 3. That was just a huge difference in this ball game. And the Mustangs unable to overcome the large deficit. Syracuse led by as many as 19 points. That was in the first quarter of play. And the Mustangs weren't able to get back close. They gained a point in the second quarter. Both teams were even in the third quarter, scoring 20 points. Mustangs win the fourth quarter by 6, but they needed a little bit more. They needed another 9 to get this ball game into a tie. Final score again, 78-69. Syracuse with a win over the SMU Mustangs. A good crowd on hand for this ball game this afternoon at Moody Coliseum. But unfortunately, the Mustangs dropping the decision by a final score of 78-69. We're joined courtside by Adia Barnes, and boy, that was a rough start.
It was a rough game and start. We had some times where we really fought, like in the third quarter. But we just can't wait that long. We just could not run offense. We really, really struggled.
You look at this ball game. Syracuse gets off to the huge start. They have a 12-4 run early in the first quarter.
We didn't score for the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, double-digit lead. That they kept that double-digit lead from the 4:11 mark of the first quarter to the 5:16 mark of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that's hard to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, they, from the get-go, just, I'm surprised. It felt like we were down by 35 on the boards. 7 offensive rebounds in the first couple minutes. They're long, athletic, hard for us to run offense. We have to be able to handle pressure and be able to still execute an offense. We couldn't reverse the ball. We had a hard time with their lane. They were blocking. I mean, I think they had, how many blocks did they have? 9? It felt like they had 17.
Yeah.
Everything around the rim. So we have to get a little bit stronger, more intentional, run offense so we move their bigs and stuff, and we just got to get better.
I think they had 7 blocks in the first quarter alone, and those all came from Izojay. Yeah. And she was a force inside block-wise. Yeah.
She had 8 blocks. She's a freak athlete. She alters everything. She controls the boards. I mean, she only had 7 boards. It felt like she had 17.
Yeah.
But because she controlled them in all the key moments. But, they have a core of 6 that's been together. They're a better team right now. And Natasha does a really good job. They ran well. Their offense is hard to guard. Even though they don't shoot it particularly well, they shot it well because we played off some people, and they made shots. So credit to them for how they played, and they just pretty much dominated us from the whole game.
First quarter, huge deficit. It was down as many as 19 points in the first quarter. But the Mustangs continued. I mean, they didn't give up. They kept fighting back. You had an even second quarter. Gained a point in the third quarter, gained more points in the fourth quarter, continued to fight, but just couldn't get enough to get it back.
No, we couldn't execute or not turn the ball over or execute something down the stretch when we needed to. And that was hard. And then 10 assists, 15 turnovers, that's an indication of our offense. And I think today, we needed Ty to be really good and score a lot today. She kind of was off. And then we just needed some other productivity, and we just could never get our guards going. I think Kyla had a much better second half, but in the first half, the guards combined were for 0 for 12. So we're not going to win games like that. We don't have enough depth and enough. And then Miriam, usually on the block, I think the size of 44 really affected Miriam one-on-one, and then we stopped attacking. So those are just things. These are just learning moments where I have to teach us, and we have to get better. I mean, they're a tournament team. They're a team that's going to be good in the ACC.
This is ACC play. We don't have any more easy games when we're talking about ACC foes. Now, you got a couple of non-conference games. Actually, I think 3 more non-conference games to close out the non-conference schedule before you start back. But not a lot of time to get it all together, because your first trip is a killer, Virginia and Louisville.
Yeah, but we just have to get better. So by then we have to be a lot better. But there's some things. We had fights. We won at certain times. We did some non-traditional things that we hadn't practiced. Today we couldn't guard them, so we threw a couple things out and we did execute it. So there is some hope, but we have to start games better. If we take away the first quarter, it's a much different ball game. But you can't start off 25-9, because if without that, we probably almost win the game. So a little bit better boxing out. A little bit better from the start, not letting someone just impose their will on us, especially at home, and just kind of do what we do, not change from that because they're blocking shots. Like, who cares if they block shots? We're not going to change the way we go to the rim. We still do it. And I think that, we have to learn from this and just got to get better.
One thing I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong with this, but it didn't seem, I know the team overall was frustrated, but it didn't seem that they showed the frustration on the floor.
No, because we have a great group. We have a good culture. We have good kids. And I think that they were down, they stayed together, and I think that's what gave us a chance to fight back. Some people weren't playing good, but they didn't hang their heads and have attitudes. I thought Sanaya Jaw was awesome again, came out and brought tremendous energy off the bench. I thought Yana had a good game. I thought we needed Miriam inside to have a presence. It just wasn't her night. We need Ty a little bit too, but we don't have the luxury of not having Miriam control the boards or Ty score for us. We're just not as good like that. So, but I thought Paulina did a good job too. We just needed a little bit more from everybody.
Coach, as always, we appreciate the visit.
Thank you.
That is the head coach of the SMU Mustangs, Adia Barnes, and we're back in a moment. This is SMU basketball from Learfield.